This is a tale from several hundred years ago. In a small town, a farmer named John lived with his wife and children. John was uneducated and poor, but he wanted his son Michael to get an education and become someone successful, so that Michael didn't have to toil like him all his life. John had great hopes pinned on his son and had dreamed of a better life for him, as he was the staff of his old age. Michael was quite intelligent too. He studied under the town's teacher, Mr. Wilson. Michael also aspired to get educated, move to the city, get a good job, and bring prosperity and happiness to his family's life. If one sincerely works towards a goal, they tend to achieve it. This is what happened with Michael. He excelled in his class and was widely praised in town. John took great pride in his son's success. One night, John said to his wife, Michael's mother, "I've been thinking about something regarding Michael for many days." "What is it?" she asked. "Are you planning Michael's marriage already?" "Good Lord, no. We'll get him married in due course, but first let him stand on his own feet. I think we should send him to the city so he can learn a trade and make something of himself. Here in this town, there is just hard labor work. What's the use of his education if he ends up doing the same? We don't even own farmland where he could prosper through hard work." "But Michael has never seen the city before, John. With whom shall we send him there?" asked his worried mother. "I know Michael is sensible and will find work there, but he still needs shelter in the city. Listen, I have a friend in the city, though we haven't met in years. But I hope if I send Michael with his address, he will at least give him shelter and help him find employment." "You make sense, but my heart doesn't allow me to send my son away from my eyes." "You're just being an overprotective mother. But don't you want our son to prosper? Gather courage. If Michael makes it in the city, our old age will be comfortable too." Thus, John convinced his wife to send Michael to the city. When Michael returned home from playing with friends that evening, John lovingly explained his plan. Michael was delighted that his father wanted to send him to the city, as he had been wanting the same, to move out, get a good job, and free his family from poverty forever. So the next day, John gave him some life lessons, his friend's address, and bid him farewell for the city. Michael was a sensible young man who understood his parents' hardships well. He knew his future would be bleak if he stayed in the village, while his desire was to become successful and give his parents a life of comfort. So he happily set out for the city. Arriving in the city, Michael was awestruck by the hustle-bustle, the glitzy shops, and the constant traffic. Nevertheless, he headed to his father's friend's address. But he found that his father's friend Richard had passed away long ago, and his family had moved out. Distraught, Michael wondered what to do next. Hope and despair are part of life, but Michael wasn't the type to give up easily. He was full of courage and self-confidence. He consoled himself, "Son, don't be disheartened. Now that you're here, you'll achieve something before returning. Your parents have high hopes from you as you're the staff of their old age." The teacher used to say, "Have courage, and God helps those who help themselves." "I've come to the city, so I'll make something of myself before returning." Boosting his own morale thus, Michael found himself a cheap inn. After freshening up, he stepped out in search of a job. Though impressed by his conduct and demeanor, shopkeepers didn't hire him due to lack of references. Days passed by in this struggle. The money he had brought from the village was running out, and Michael became anxious. He thought if only he had a connection in the city, he would have gotten a job. One day, exhausted, he sat under a tree, contemplating his situation. Nearby, some palace guards were sitting in the shade, chatting. Inadvertently, Michael overheard one say, "You're so fortunate, Randolph, to have risen to become the king's treasurer, while I remain a lowly guard, though we join together." Randolph replied, "Fortune favors those who display wisdom and courage, George. Through my prudence, I earned the king's trust and became the treasurer due to my honesty." "No way. You must have gotten some sorcerer to cast a spell for such quick success. Otherwise, why couldn't I progress similarly?" George dejectedly said as they walked away. Though they left, Randolph's words about the dead mouse kept ringing in Michael's mind. People spit on that dead mouse in disdain, but a wise person can make 4 pennies from it. 4 pennies. Michael wondered, how could one make money from a dead mouse? As he pondered, he noticed a horse carriage approaching. A wealthy merchant sat inside, cradling a cat that was trying to wriggle out of his arms. As the carriage passed Michael, the cat jumped out and ran into the roadside bushes. "Hey, rickshaw puller, stop." "My cat jumped out," cried the merchant. He got down and ran towards the bushes, calling out, "Here, kitty, come here." Soon some people, including Michael and the rickshaw puller, gathered around the bush where the cat had taken refuge, growling menacingly. "Please help get my cat out. I need it for a purpose," the flustered merchant pleaded with the crowd. "Can't you see how it's growling, sir? It will scratch if we put our hands inside," cautioned a bystander. Overhearing this, Randolph's words replayed in Michael's mind. A wise person can make 4 pennies even from this dead mouse. A plan struck him instantly. He asked the merchant, "Sir, if I retrieve your cat safely, what will you give me?" "Well," the merchant sized up Michael and said, "If you get me my cat, I'll give you a silver coin, lad." Michael's mouth watered at the prospect of a silver coin. "Very well, sir. Please stay here. I'll get your cat for you." He dashed towards the dead mouse lying nearby. "Excellent, son." The treasurer was right. With wisdom, one can make money even from this dead creature. Quickly, Michael found a rope, tied it around the mouse's neck, and headed towards the bushes. "Move aside, everyone. The cat is coming out now," Michael announced, pushing through the crowd. "But that's the dead mouse lying there," someone exclaimed in surprise. "Wow, this boy has made a coin by cashing in on the opportunity. This is the power of wisdom. He is bound to make it big one day." The crowd broke into appreciative murmurs. Michael sat near the bushes and began dangling the mouse suspended from the rope towards the growling cat. The plump mouse made the cat's mouth water. It looked at Michael with a hungry gaze and started inching towards him, tail swishing eagerly. The crowd watched in excited anticipation. As soon as the cat emerged fully out of the bushes lured by the dead mouse, Michael gently stroked its back and scooped it up in his arms. The moral of the story is that wisdom, prudence, and presence of mind are crucial for success in life. Despite being uneducated and lacking resources, Michael was able to make an opportunity for himself in the city by using his intelligence and quick thinking. When faced with a seemingly hopeless situation of retrieving the merchant's cat, instead of giving up, Michael remembered the wise treasurer's words about being able to profit even from something as insignificant as a dead mouse. Applying this advice practically, he devised a clever plan to lure out the cat safely by using the dead mouse as bait. His resourcefulness, street smarts, and ability to think on his feet in that particular moment impressed the gathered crowd, who appreciated the power of wisdom that allowed a youngster like Michael to make money through such an unconventional method. The story highlights that more than just education, it is wisdom, courage, and optimism in the face of adversity that allows one to capitalize on opportunities and pave their own path to success, no matter how dire the circumstances. With determination and a mindset to achieve one's goals through fair means, even the most ordinary things can be turned into means of progress if approached with intelligence. Like this video to show your support. Share the learning with loved ones and subscribe to stay updated with our latest uploads.